Hello and welcome back to the HCW channel. My name is Dan. This is Ray here, and we're doing a UK indie spotlight show review for a show that Ray here attended. Rate attended. Well, no, actually, no, before we get into that, Ray, how are you doing?
You're not very good at this, are you, mate?
I'm not.
I am doing
I'm not.
very well, DP. I had a good time. Love was loved. Happiness was happiness. How are you?
Stressing
Why?
because I'm not good at intros.
Well, yeah, for one, you call yourself Dan.
Oh shit! Yeah, fuck.
So, this is the intro now. I can't be asked to do it again. Let's begin.
Let's begin. Yeah. So the show you attended was Progress Wrestling Chapter 155, Feel the Noise, from the O2 Academy in Birmingham. So before we get into these, how was the venue?
Yeah, it's good. I've been like hundreds of times to the O2 Academy because it's a music venue as well. Same with some of my favourite artists there. But it's good. But I want to discuss right off the bat £7.35 for a pint.
Is that good? I don't drink. I don't know.
Weatherspoons, you can get the exact same pint for £2.50, DP. In a
Ah,
normal pub,
that's
you can probably get the exact same pint for about like £4.50, £5.
hmm
£7.35 for it's not
that's
even a
actually
pint, it's in a plastic cup.
yeah.
Absolute
Wow.
ludicrous.
So
Absolute ludicrous. I don't even want to do the review anymore. I'm getting hot again.
this is now a grant,
Fucking.
whatever. But yeah, before we get into it, how was the turnout? Because I did see a couple of posts on social media saying it wasn't that great.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a massive turnout. Like the seating was filled. There was probably 3 rows on each side, so there was 3 sides, and obviously the entrance. And then sporadic people standing around. I couldn't gather how many people were in there in an estimate because I'm not very good at that kind of thing.
Oh, fair
But it
enough.
wasn't packed.
Fair enough. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's go straight into the review itself.
Yes.
So we kicked things off, and this is the time to begin with.
No.
No, okay, with a singles match between Dan Maloney and Kid Lycos.
Yeah, so Lycos Maloney, I saw that the night before I saw it here. So I saw it at BCCW, and then literally the first time they've met in a singles competition since Lycos has been Lycos. They've wrestled prior to Lycos being Lycos. And then literally the next day I saw it the second time around. So it started off like a back and forth matchup. Maloney's power, obviously, versus Lycos' agility. Dan got Maloney outside and then did, I call it a ground floor dropkick, because he went through the bottom and middle rope. So he didn't do a basement dropkick, bottom middle rope. That's what it's got to be called. It's a basement dropkick. You can't go through the middle rope, surely. Makes
No,
no
no,
sense.
no, no.
Then Lycos kind of replied after that with 3 dives himself. So 2 dives to the one side. Maloney rolled back in the ring, rolled out the other side, and he went for a dive that side. There's cool spots in it. Lycos did a 3 amigos, but back suplexes, which
Okay.
is a weird thing to see. And then Dan Maloney followed this up with a ripcord chop. Lycos hit a brainbuster.
Shut up, Lycos.
Yep, he missed it once, and then hit it the second time. He got a near fall. Dan then hit a spear out of nowhere and got a near fall. They were striking each other continuously at this point. Then Lycos ended up hitting Dan with a shining wizard. And then, out of nowhere, here comes Spike Trevay. So
Hey.
I saw he was doing warm ups in the corridor. You could see if you just look left, he was there watching the whole match. And then he rolls into the ring. Lycos is on the top rope. He looks at Lycos, and then just turns around and starts kicking Dan Maloney. So Dan wins by disqualification. I
Yeah, fair
really
enough.
enjoyed this match, and I rated 3 3/4 stars. It was very, very
Nice.
good opener.
hmm Yeah, it seems that way as well. Like Maloney obviously is not really having a prominent role in Progress, from my knowledge. So, and Lycos obviously is the challenger for Trevay
Yeah.
On September 24th for the Hungry Like the Wolf show. So yeah, it makes sense why Gervais got involved, and Maloney having his status where he is now with New Japan as well. Like, it makes more sense to have him be featured, but not necessarily as a regular.
Yeah. So yeah, especially because obviously he's around from the West Midlands and so forth. Like, it makes sense for him to actually appear on in a prominent role in the West Midlands show.
Yeah, fair enough.
And we all
Well,
like Dan.
we do like that. So we move on then to the next match of the night, which featured Rio taking on debutee for Progress Wrestling, Renee Michelle.
Yeah. So I was looking forward to seeing her on show. I've seen her on one of the US Indies. I can't remember who it was. But this match just felt like a squash match. So Rio obviously is some form of like Money in the Bank key holder kind of thing for the women's title. Obviously, I'm not up to date with Progress as you are. So Rio pretty much just dominated the whole match. She got like Renee into like a full Nelson, which was like horrifically like swinging around kind of full Nelson, not just like your typical standing still. They're outside. I couldn't see this, but it sounded like Rio was just chopping the crap out of her outside. Renee took over for a little bit because she did like some variation, like a chip kick kind of thing, and knocked Rio out clean. Then Rio just kind of brushed it off, hit some few big moons. Renee hit a few big moves. They tried to hit a moonsault and missed it completely, and then out of nowhere, like there was a flash finish from Rio, and she picked up the win. I rated it 2.25 stars. It was fine, but it felt like you're bringing Renee Michelle in to get battered.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the match announced, I assumed that was going to be the outcome anyway.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, Rio and her ability and her tendency, which that she brings to her matches. It felt not necessarily like a squash match, but it just felt like Rio would win anyway.
Yeah, it just feels like if you're like I said, I don't know much about Progress-ish, like recent Progress, but it feels like if you're gonna bring someone like Renee Michelle in, like at least let her highlight herself, like a UK debut, I believe,
Yeah.
and she just got absolutely waylaid.
But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, as you say, obviously Rio is a key holder for Lana Austin's title, which she won at the Thunder Bastard match back. I don't remember actually off the top of my head, but it was a few
Oh,
months
so it's
ago.
Thunder Bastard, so they don't get the big Trident anymore. The Spirit of the
No. It's just a key now.
Yeah, is it because it looked a bit dodgy, that thing?
You mean like the original tag shields?
No, I'm thinking about the eagle on the cross that
No,
looked a
I
bit
know.
dodgy as hell.
You know, they got a bit of a history with like weird looking trinkets. But moving on swiftly, we go to a match that. Is that right? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I found it now. So it's correct me if I'm wrong. It's Kid Lycos 2 against Bullet.
Yeah, so just prior to this, Bullet comes down with Sprike, and he calls out Big Damo and basically says he wants the real Big Damo. So Bullet went to saw Damo at WrestleMania 33, and that's when he decided that he wanted to become a wrestler. That's why he started pumping the weight and stuff like that. But he wants the big real Damo. He doesn't want this Damo who's just on his retirement tour. Which is a good line. I liked. Then Damo starts replying about he's going to kick his ass, and then out of nowhere, Kid Like Us 2 comes like barreling past me through the crowd, over the railing, and starts attacking Bullet to kick off the match. So this is your typical big man versus little man, obviously, situation. So obviously the little man is attempting to do a big move by picking up Bullet continuously. So Lycos, instead of most small men go for the body slam, Lycos is trying to do a Death Valley driver. So he goes Death Valley driver. Obviously Bullet stops that completely, and then he just manhandles him for about 5 minutes. Just the typical hip toss, throws. Chops for days, just chopping the crap out of him. Eventually, Lycos out of nowhere does hit a Death Valley driver, though. It's like a big moment. but he tries to get the pin, it doesn't happen, and pretty much out from there, it's Bullet just killing him. So he hits a choke slam, he hits 1, 2, and then picks up Logos. He hits a Liger bomb, 1, 2,
Okay.
rolls him over, so he doesn't get the win. And then, out of nowhere, and I thought, oh, this is going to be like the Kid Lykos 2 comeback kind of thing. He puts him on the top rope, and he's going for a suplex. And he suplexes him. And then he picks him up again and choke slams him, and he picks up the win.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was a squashy-ish match, but it was a bit more entertaining. Like I rated 2 3/4 because I enjoyed just the dominance and not just because Lykos 2 is good at selling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like he absolutely obliterated. And then after the match, he continued to attack him. And then Lykos came down, and it's kind of like trying to look after his mate, but the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
And Lykos 2 is supposed to be fighting, I think, Spike Josh Ray in Sheffield the next day.
That sounds right.
I believe. I don't think he is. I'm lying.
Oh no, because he's fighting J. No, he fights. No.
Oh, it's Dominatus Radium. Yeah, it's the Kid Lykos 2 is
Okay.
involved in that 6-man tag. That's the one.
Fair enough.
So that's what was supposed to happen there. But yeah, no, it was a good match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, fair enough. I always think it's quite interesting to see the dynamic between Lykos and Lykos 2. Obviously, Lykos nowadays is a bit more face leaning because he's fighting like the ultra heel in Trevay, like. And Lykos 2, it seems like to me in this match was being the entertaining sort of heel. In fact, even though Bullet is the towering heel, so but Lykos 2 always sort of seemed like more solid set in his alignment rather than Lykos who can like go back and forth.
Yeah. Between, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this sounds like a fun match, and I'll check it out on demand when I get a chance.
The new demand.
Yeah,
Progress Plus, I think it's called, is it?
Something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm still owing money about my pivot share. But move on to a match that I'm fairly sure you'd enjoyed. Between the man mentioned in the previous match, Big Damo.
Yep.
And I think debuting for Progress.
I believe I've seen Brian Cage before, and I don't know if it was at Progress.
Yeah, he's definitely was in the UK before. But I don't know if it's been as part of Progress.
I remember Simon Miller announcing like Inamura as a debut and Renee as a debut. I don't remember him announcing Brian Cage as a debut. That's one way to find out.
Maybe he ain't. Anyway.
No, yeah, no, it is a debut. It is a debut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brian Cage.
Yeah, so there you go.
But yeah, so Big Damo against Brian Cage in Brian Cage's debut match for Progress Wrestling.
Yep, so the Birmingham gets them all, DP. We get Brian Cage and we also get Inamura.
Hey.
So, who did you get, DP? No, you obviously
We got.
But yeah.
How was the match?
It was meat. The crowd made this match. It was good, but it wasn't as good as the standing ovation they got at the end. It was because it was like the Miro Powerhouse Hobbs match where the crowd were proper into it. It was a decent match, but it wasn't. It was the crowd that made it better. So yeah, it was Damo vs Cage, meat. So they did the typical big man shoulder bumps, big strikes against each other. Brian Cage then went into his like hybrid kind of stuff. We're doing tilt-a-whirls, which obviously looks impressive when you're massive. Damo takes over with a crossbody. He does a move I've not seen him do, which he may have done before. Basically, he gets Brian Cage in the corner. He goes outside the ring. He does a clothesline from outside, and then he does a slingshot over into a senton. Don't know if that's a normal Damo move.
I think it's part of his normal moveset. At least nowadays, anyway.
Yeah, I've just never pictured him doing it. Then Damo is like in control, but then he misses his Damo bomb in the corner.
Mhm.
Brian then does like his typical like insane strength crap. He does that, which it just looks incredible. Do you know the suplex he does from outside in, where he's
Yes.
on the top rope, he's on the second rope, Damo's on the outside, and he lifts him over. Fucking stupid it looked, just so good. He missed a near fall on that. Damo then goes for a crossbody, and Brian Cage just catches him.
That's
Lifts him up and just F-solves him and picks up the win.
wow.
Yep. I read it for 3.25 stars. I enjoyed it because it's meaty men hitting each other. As I said, it wasn't as impressive as the standing audience, but I think they
Mm.
just love shouting meat. But yeah, no, it was a good match. It was nice to see Brian Cage live.
Yeah.
From there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely sounds like a match that you need to go out and check. Really, even if it's not even just a match, just for the crowd reaction to it. Like it just sounds like it was a ruckus crowd for this.
The good thing about the O2 Academy, even though I said it wasn't like rammed, the acoustics are really good in there.
Hmm.
So like it's just full on. Like you could, it just sounds like there's hundreds of people there when there's not as many as it sounds like there's there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's the benefit of having like music venues as the venues for these shows. It's
mhm.
like even the ballroom in Camden like is a similar thing. Like I don't like the venue particularly, but it's got great acoustics because it's also a nightclub. It's also a concert hall. It's whatever. You know.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's why it's good. The acoustics were very because it bounces off, so it just sounds like it's. That's the trouble with open air arenas. Like you could have
Hmm.
90,000 people there, but on TV it doesn't sound loud because the noise is going up and there's nothing to
Yeah.
block it.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, we move ahead. We're moving on from two big men to two not so big men.
Wondering how you're going to segue that. Like, she's going to start calling man like Reese and Mark Askins little men. I'm like, fucking
No,
don't
just
call
not
Mark
so big.
Askins that,
No, just
or
not
as
so
he's
big.
known
That's
now,
in
Skins.
comparisons.
So
But yeah, so we had as you say, Mark Haskins and man like Derice.
yeah, so prior to this match, there was it's leading into this match. So this was the second half. There was a weird, like, I don't know who it was, but they had a video of a guy doing Birmingham poetry rap.
Okay,
Leading into man like Derice's entrance. It was like a love poetry song towards Birmingham.
okay.
It was alright. It's not my kind of like I like hard hitting like rap if we're going to like, rap and stuff like that. I'm not very much I like Kate Tempest is pretty good. If you had like
Yeah.
that kind of poetry kind of it, but this wasn't for me. It felt like
Hmm.
he was. There's not much you can do with Birmingham eventually.
I think it just sounds like it was because it's a big company,
Yeah,
big show in Birmingham. It's like when WrestleMania and SummerSlam they have
yeah,
like their live bands and stuff.
yeah.
So that's what it sounds like to me. I won't know obviously, but
Yeah, it was fine. It led into man like Reese coming out and doing his usual rap. And then Mark Askins comes out with Vic Askins. Um, Mark Askins is now known as Skins,
hmm.
which is kind of a new thing. So Simon Miller introduces man like Reese, and then Vic Askins grabs the mic and basically calls everyone in Birmingham like degenerate scum. And was just praising Mark Askins.
Yeah.
So we kicked into the match, and this is going to sound weird because Reese is a massive kamikaze guy, and there is a slight bias towards kamikaze guys for myself, but this match wasn't one of Reese's best matches. So I'll give you the rating first. I rate 2 3/4, which isn't a bad
Oh, okay.
match. But like
Yeah.
Reese versus Mark Askins, I expected like a banger, but I couldn't get over. Reese his offense is very agility based and nip ups and stuff like that. So it's very difficult for someone to sell the story that you're selling your leg. So the whole story of this match was Reese's leg got fecked up by Mark Askins. But it doesn't work with Reese's offense because Reese does
Hmm.
like 55 nip ups in the match. And like he does like he's doing the kicks in the corner, his 0-1-2-1 kicks, and he's selling his leg a bit there. But it's like he hits four kicks, then holds his leg, then hits 4 kicks and holds his leg. He does a lot of nip-ups, and it's like he does a lot of his moveset and then remembers his leg's injured. Like,
Yeah.
it should have been a difference. Like, maybe have his arm injured in the match would have made more sense. At least he could continue his offense, and the odd bit like clotheslines would have affected him. But like,
Hmm.
it was just very weird.
Yeah.
Haskins got him an FTS kind of submission hold. Dory snipped up after that. There were big moves from each other. Reese then hit an end of heartache
Hmm.
on his injured legs. Didn't
Oh,
sell it
okay.
like he injured his legs, though. He just hit it end of heartache. And then both guys were down in the middle of the ring, but like he was just down flat on his back. Like, not. You've just. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you had like a full person's body weight land
Yeah, on
onto
your
your
legs. It's
knees.
not like you're going to be knackered lying on your back. You're going to be like, ow, my leg. You
Yeah.
know? Then he hits a blue thunder bomb as well after another nip up. And then he hits his 450 splash to pick up the win. So right
Mhm.
2 3/4, but I think it was a good match if you don't pay attention to the selling. But because of
Yeah.
like I'm so like hot on like Blanca Belair and stuff like that, the selling kind of aspect of it, it just makes no sense. If you're trying to sell
Hmm.
something and then you're hitting a 450 splash and you're just going straight to the pin and your leg's fine. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like there's
Yeah, I'm always of the opinion where if you're going to be selling a body part, like as injured, you're going to have to like, alter your move set so you don't do the same things, or if you do the same things you normally would do, you've got
yeah,
to sell it. In the case that, oh, you know what, I've got to throw this kick because otherwise I'm going to lose. It's like, okay, shit, my legs are going to fucking hurt after this, but I've got to do it.
yeah.
But
Like there was
then,
good points. Like when he did like they did an Irish whip, he stumbled and stuff like that. So it's just you have to be consistent. Especially if you're going to be like hitting like the end of heartache is the most ridiculous move to do when your legs are hurt, you know. But yeah, it was still a good match. It was just it took me out of it. It's like the Orange Cassidy
yeah.
things we've been discussing on the podcast. Their matches are a lot better if you don't think about the story behind them.
Hmm.
That Orange Cassidy's dead by the time he's facing these people, but if you just think it's a single match, it's probably better. Whereas I was thinking this, he was selling his leg.
Yeah, fair enough. So it sounds like a good match, but we're just taken up by a little bit of the unrealism of it.
Yeah.
So we move on to a match that sounds very interesting on paper. Session Moth Martina against Lizzie Evo.
Ooh, ooh,
Is it?
ooh.
I was confused. Is it Evo or Evo?
Lucy Evo, I think it is.
Or Evo? Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. Either way, she's not a nice person. So Lizzie has that typical. It sounds bad, but like Alexis Falcon as well, like the Scouse kind of. When
Yeah,
they're a
yeah,
heel, they are definitely a heel because of it's just
yeah.
the accent adds to it.
Yeah.
So Session Moth comes out to her usual like Looney Tune fucking running around the ring, cans slatting everyone, grinding up on Simon Miller, but Simon Miller was selling the grinding and he was going fully bump into it. It was a bit awkward, Miles. And then Lizzie comes out. The first thing she does is just like that on the entrance ramp, just for the whole thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So it started off with like them Session trying to get her on side, and then Lizzie just pushes that, and then Session Month goes ooh, and then pushes her back really slight. And then it's just a full-on slap to the face.
Yeah.
They're going chops. They work in the crowd for a bit. Session Moth hits a dive from the outside, and then I'm going to get into my second rant of the evening. I don't like that. For example, Kid Like Us did a dive on Dan Maloney. I don't like that. For some reason, in the women matches, they feel like they have to get the red shirts involved so they can do the dive. Like, so Session Moth hit a senton, just like a rolling senton, but like two of the red shirts and Liz Eva were there to catch her. And it's like, it just seems like you can tell instantly it's happening. It's like, why are these red shirts just come out? No, they've not helped anyone out the whole show except for this one moment.
Yeah.
I've never understood it. It's either don't do the dive or do the dive without them there because it
Yeah.
always looks silly to me. It's like the fifth
So
thing when there's like a massive multi-man tag match and then every man in his grog has to run to the corner to protect the dive.
So obviously, breaking a little bit of kayfabe there. not there here. Sorry. Uh, Obviously, I'm not part of the show. And I don't know anything going on backstage, but I'm assuming the wrestlers, when they go through the matches and everything, they know what they're going to do, and assumably, I assume they get the choice. It was like, oh, I'm gonna do a dive, so I want someone to catch me. So
Yeah,
can I have
Lizzie
red
Evo.
shirts involved? No, but I mean, in case for whatever reason that she can't catch me, or if I miss time a jump or whatever, can there be others there in case?
Yeah, but
So
if you got to
I think
look at
they
it in
asked
that
for it.
way, you've got to look at it in like you can miss time anything in the ring. Do you want someone to catch you in the ring? Like it's oh I know it's like it just puts me off.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
has their own kind of niche things they hate. That I just
Hmm.
hate where it's not even in women, right? It's in general like clusterfuck dives where like say a kid like us Dan Maloney, just one guy fucking ramming someone and then doing it
Hmm.
again over and over again, and then like in this match it's just like two people suddenly out of for no reason trying to look after Lizzie Evo on the floor. Like there was no
Hmm.
reason for them to go over to her to kind of make sure she's okay because they haven't done it in the rest of the show when someone's been thrown outside, and then
Yeah,
Session does a senton. It just throws me off because it
yeah,
makes
it's fair
no
enough.
sense valid in my head.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
if you're worried about doing it, don't do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's
fair.
kind of like because if you're going in the essence, I just want to make sure someone catches me safely. Then don't do it, or do you know like moves in the ring that could go wrong. Do you want someone there? It's like when Stardom and the ladders, where the
Yeah,
referees jump in the ring to hold the ladders.
yeah. It's like it's one of my pet peeves with like wrestling in general when you have a sort of like ref come in to hold ladder still.
Yeah.
It's like it breaks all immersion. It's like the
Anyway,
ref shouldn't even
let's
get
go.
involved.
I've got to stop
Right.
the rant because this is a
Yeah.
progress review and I'm slating something here and I do apologise. So they did the dive from the outside.
Mhm.
Then they get back in the ring. A few near falls. Lizzie Uvo hits a fantastic drop kick off the second rope.
Mhm.
Martina hits a spear for a near fall, and then she hits it's like a twisting suplex. You know, the one where she picks
Okay.
her up slightly and then twists her. It's like a weird version of the crossroads, technically.
Oh,
Um,
is that the final cut that Golos
yeah,
does?
yeah.
Yeah,
Except
yeah,
it's
yeah.
more, yeah. So yeah, it isn't because Goldust does lift them, don't they? And then Lizzie Uvo eventually picks up the win by death by knee. Basically, she just kneed her
Yeah.
twice in the face. But full
Yeah.
on, like wow, that looks like it was fucking kill someone. I rate it
Yeah.
3 stars. I really enjoyed the match. I said like the dive out of it. That was just the rant I had to go with because I need to bring it up at some point. But
Yeah.
overall, the match was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, fair enough. It sounds like it was alright. Obviously Lizzie is going on a run as of late with progress since her comeback.
I can see why
Um,
though. She's very good in the ring.
oh no, absolutely,
Like
yeah,
very, very good. Her heel persona is very good. At the end of the match, she grabbed the can of Foster's. She started drinking it, and so I think Session thought there was going to be a bit of respect, and then she spat it in Session's face, and then just threw the can off her head.
yeah.
It looked, I think it missed her head, but it looked better because it just
Mhm.
went. Yeah, oh, it was good.
I'm telling you, the eventual match we get to with Lizzie Evo and Rio is gonna be a fucking banger.
Hmm.
But we move on to a non-title match featuring Progress World Champion Spike Trivet and not challenger, Luke Jacobs.
Prior to this, DP,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I scissored someone. God damn it.
Hey,
He caught
why?
me off
How?
guard.
Who?
Just like a guy out of nowhere. He was in front. Basically, I probably should shout these three people out. There's two guys and a woman. Every match, they just shouted once per match, so they weren't annoying. They just shouted side Russian leg sweep, and then out of nowhere, he just turns around to me and just goes scissor me, and I'm like, oh god. And like I didn't want to, like I don't want to do it, but like he just caught me off guard, and he's just, oh, he went like that, just like to put it in there like that, and he's going. I was like, oh. And then he does it. He goes on like a tear and does it around the arena. But yeah, back
Yeah.
to the match. So Luke Jacobs, who I love with a passion,
Mhm.
he is my ultimate meaty men hitting each other kind of wrestler. Stan Hansen throwback, Gabriel Gid kind of guy.
Yeah.
Versus Spike Trevane.
Yeah.
This was a banger of a match, which it was always going
Yeah.
to be. So obviously at start, Spike Trevay is locking up with Luke Jacobs, and he's obviously he's outpowering the shit out of Spike Trevay. Trevay then starts to try and work on the leg, trying to obviously chop down the big man. He then goes for a few strikes on Luke Jacobs, like as hard as he could. Then Luke Jacobs just hits one monster forearm and drops him. Absolutely drops him, and Spike just looks incredible when he does it. There's a few moments where he's trying to work the arms and stuff. Luke Jacobs, Spike does his heel thing and bites the hand, which looked great there. And then it just started to become chaos. So Luke Jacobs hit a version of Torpedo Moscow. So Spike Trevay was on his arse, and he's just done a running headbutts to him for a near fall there. Trevay hit a lungbower, and then a backcracker, and then a pile driver, and then got a near fall on that in like a sequence. The ref got kind of bumped slightly, as in like he wasn't facing the right way because of bullet and so forth. So Spike Trevay hit a low blow. And then he hit. You probably know what it's called. He's got like I'm guessing it's his finisher. It's like a tiger knee drop, kind of like.
I was saying that the suplex into the knee drop.
Yeah. Has he got a name?
I think it's called the Kingslayer.
I've heard that name, so I feel like that probably is going to be it if it's not.
Because I'm pretty sure he called it that. He called it the Swan Slayer when he fought Carl Noir. So I think it's called the Kingslayer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense then. I'm just going to, because I'm on Cage Match, I might as well.
I might be wrong on that.
It's not on Cage Match, whatever it is anyway. But yeah, so that looked great. That hit a near fall at that point. The cameras are frozen, so I'm just going to whack them back on. Oh no, they're frozen real bad, DP.
Oh boy.
Where have they gone?
Open Discord again, and then open your OBS over that.
Yes, good. I forgot how you do it. I forgot if it was either you were unvisibly on OBS or you did that, so it was obviously the other thing.
How long was it frozen for?
Literally when I was searching the fucking tiger knee thing, so it was about 5 seconds. I'm watching the OBS screen, so I know what's going on anyway. So back to the match. I will edit that out. So he hit the Tiger Kingslayer, we'll go with. He got a near fall on that. Sparring driver, Tiger knee, and then Luke Jacobs hit like a monster lariat, which is always going to happen. Then there was a Springer driver. It's a. I'm confused myself here. Oh no, sorry. What happened was, ignore my whole review. He went for the Kingslayer, missed it. Luke Jacobs hit the lariat. That was for a near fall. Then he hit another lung check, and then the Kingslayer, and that was a near fall kick out. The ref got fully KO'd at this point, just like knocked out of nowhere. And then here comes obviously Lykos to kind of sort out what happened earlier. He attacks Bullet. Then obviously Bullet and Spike overtake them two. He throws a chair off Lykos's head, absolute noggin busters him. The ref comes down at that point and just DQs the hell out of it, and it's a no contest. Then Maloney comes down and he hits a spear, and they just like the bells ringing at that point, and it's all chaos. And I rate it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it because it was just hard. It was just strong style, like kick the shit out of each other kind of match. Prior to the main event, which I'll give you the discussion of this match, Maloney got on the mic and he said, like, you've messed up Kid Like Us 2. So I'm not going to give Kid Like Us 2 the option of being fit for tomorrow. I'm going to be in that match. Now Dan Maloney's in that 6-man tag match because in 10 days' time, Dan Maloney's flying back to New Japan and he doesn't know when he's going to be back. So now the Driller, the 44 caliber Driller, is going to be in that tag match today, technically, of the recording of the video, the 10th of September. But no, incredible match.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be an incredible match at the next chapter as well, with Maloney now involved, which, nothing against Like Us 2, but it's an improvement.
Yeah, it's because it's a New Japan guy, technically, now, and like, you can't really deny him.
But we move on now to the main event for the Progress Atlas Championship. A match that I'm incredibly jealous that you got to see live.
Yes.
So it was initially an open challenge, I believe.
Yep.
Which was then accepted, I believe, on Twitter. So Ricky Knight Jr., the champion, defending against a fucking debutee, probably his first time in the UK.
His first time in Europe.
Oh, Jesus. And he came to Birmingham?
Yes. Yes, he did, son.
Representing Pro Wrestling Noah, Yoshiki Inamura.
Yes. So this was your typical I'm going to kick the crap out of each other kind of match. So Ricky Knight has bulked up a lot from like a few years ago, where he's more like the athletic side, getting beaten down. Now he can go one-on-one with people like this. He hit an absolute phenomenal dive on Inamura. Like, it was over the top rope. Like, Inamura was like 55 rows back. It felt like that kind of distance kind of thing, and hit the thing on that. Inamura took over with like just his power moves, absolutely throwing him everywhere. He did the most incredible spinning body slam I've ever seen in my life. So Ricky Knight Jr. could like crossbody, caught him, and then span for like 55 seconds, it felt like, and then just did a body slam. Then he hit a massive power slam. He got a near fall on that, and you felt there was a slight chance of Ricky Knight Jr. losing. Obviously, very slight. Ricky Knight eventually took over. He hit a razor's edge on Inamura, and it looked grim.
Yeah,
because of Inamura was a big guy. He shouldn't be landing like that. He got a near fall on that, a big kick out. Inamura hit a pounce into the corner. Ricky Knight Jr. took on top. He hit a move which I can't remember what it was into his 450 splash. He hit like a setup move. Can't remember what it was. He hit the 450 splash, and there was a kick out from that. And then Ricky Knight Jr. picked up the win with, you just call it the Rikishi driver. I don't know that's what it used to be called, the Rikishi driver.
I know.
I don't know what the actual move's called.
I believe it's called the Island Driver.
But yeah, so Ricky Knight Jr. Defeated Inamura in his debut. It is literally called the Rikishi driver on Rikishi's special move, so I'm fine. I've said it right in my head. I rate it 3.5 stars. It was a good match. It wasn't. It was shorter than I wanted it to be. But it's for big men hitting each other. It's fair enough. It's the same as Big Damo, Brian Cage, but I feel like Luke Jacobs and Trevay was a hard match to follow as well. But it was a good match. 3.5 stars. It was a very good match.
Yeah, fair enough. So with that is the end, I guess, of this review of this show. What was I think your favourite match was the Trevay Jacobs match, right?
Yeah. 4 stars, just absolute chaos and hard hitting strokes, followed by the Inamura match. Literally, my top 3 matches were meaty men hitting each other. Luke Jacobs, Big Damo, and Cage was in there, and then Inamura was in there.
Yeah. But this sounds like it was an amazing show. Like, nothing seemed out of place. Nothing really went like low. Like, there's nothing bad.
Yeah, like, get me wrong, the Renee squash match was fine. It wasn't like it was just I was expecting more from it.
Yeah. Precisely, and I think it's fair. And she's got a match with the...
Yeah, it makes sense more to you, because obviously you've been watching Progress, like, all chapters. I haven't really been up to date with it, so it probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I saw that as just a non-story one-on-one match.
No, I didn't see it more as a squash match. I saw, because obviously Rio is like the number whatever contender to Lana Austin. She has like her Money in the Bank thing, so she'll cash in or put that key in at whenever she chooses to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is what it is ultimately, and these are your opinions.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And with that, we bring an end to this UK Indie Spotlight show review. Have you got anything that you want to say or to plug?
Watch the Indie Extravaganza.
Yes.
Watch it.
The Indie Extravaganza done by myself and Ray, where we just cover a lot of the non-British indies.
With the odd British indie in there, because it depends on if me and DP see something live, we'll do this kind of review. Whereas if we don't see something, we'll do it on that because it makes sense.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, it was fun to record that. It was fun to record this. It was fun to talk about wrestling. Wrestling is fun. But yeah, I've got nothing further to add. Unless you do, Ray, I believe you can call it there.
Let's like and subscribe. Twitter handles are below. All the socials are above. Thank you, DP.
No worries. But yeah, all that good stuff, and yeah, we'll call it there.
Worst host ever.
I don't host. I don't like doing it.
Worst host ever.
I don't like doing it. Why are you kissing your mic?
Because this is better content than your hosting. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Oh, yeah.